Hi, I'm Bob Batcher, and I'm the Executive Director of Prime Plus Senior Centers, and this is Prime Time with Bob. I'm with a really special public servant. Um, it says up here Tracy Reed, but we're going to go by TC Reed, Deputy Sheriff, and running Project Lifesaver. Tell me about Project Lifesaver, TC. What is it?
Project Lifesaver started in Chesapeake over 20 years ago. We are one of about 3,600 member agencies of Project Lifesaver International. And I'm proud to say that Norfolk has the most searches of any of those agencies.
Wow.
And we've got about 140 clients right now, and those clients have different cognitive issues such as Alzheimer's, dementia, kids with autism, Down syndrome, anything on the autism spectrum.
So TC, years ago, I interviewed, I think it was Paul Ballance from the sheriff, who was over the program that time, on Norfolk Perspectives. And he brought all this big equipment with him, looked like a TV antenna and the whole 9 yards. And we've got people in our adult day service now who are clients, and they've got a really discreet looking ankle bracelet on. Is all that heavy equipment still involved in the program, or is technology kind of help?
Well, the equipment might have gotten a little smaller. I think the transmitters that you're seeing on those clients are probably about the same. They're about the size of a wristwatch. Some of them wear them on their wrists. Some people wear them on their ankles. But those are probably about the same size. But the receivers that we use to search for that signal, that may have gotten smaller over the years.
Okay.
Compact.
Some things have gotten bigger over the years. So the clients that I know are on that Alzheimer dementia journey. And as they progress on that journey, these are clients that are in the Prime Plus Adult Day Service. We've got staff that are trained to really work with them and keep them engaged. But one thing I've noticed is if they've got an idea that they want to get out a door, they're going to get out that door, right?
Yes, sir. Like we try to tell any of our potential caregivers that have a loved one with Alzheimer's or dementia, once those folks with those cognitive issues get something in their head, it's a mission. So if their mission is to go see mother, then they're going to see mother, even though, their mother could have passed, 25, 30 years ago, but it's still in their mind. They're living in the past and they're going to see their mother or whatever the mission is.
So when a caregiver thinks they have no choice but to contain their loved one into a facility, that there are options. We have our adult day with trained staff, and then Project Lifesaver is a big component of that, isn't it?
Yes, sir. We try to be, and we try to, serve our citizens that have those loved ones that have those cognitive issues.
Now, I've heard of stories where, because in the world of serving somebody with dementia, even with autism, there's vulnerable times in their day in transporting, that kind of thing, where they can get away. I ran into a situation a few months ago where someone basically wanted to go home. They weren't ready to go where they were going, so they got away. Once it was discovered that they'd gotten away, I was amazed how quickly the system works. What I experienced was, you called us and said that you'd heard of a situation. It was a Chesapeake resident. Chesapeake, how did all that work? And I'm gonna bury the lead, but within 20 minutes, this person was found. So walk me through how that all worked between you and Chesapeake.
Well, we got notification from Paul Ballance, who used to be the director in Norfolk, who is now the chief operations officer with Project Lifesaver International, that a Chesapeake client had wandered in our city, in Norfolk. So gave me that individual's transmitter number, and that's when I went looking for him. the information that we got was actually wrong. I guess when Chesapeake initially gave it, they said that the individual was at another facility. So that's why I came and saw you and wanted to verify that in fact the individual was from Prime Plus and not the other agency. So once I verified that, I went looking for the signal, and it usually takes us longer to get to where the person is than it does to find them. I mean, once I was in the area, you know, within a matter of minutes, I found them.
Yeah, and now, kind of to complete that story, we keep talking about Paul Balance, but Paul was in Florida at their location there that day. So it is remarkable how that network and that technology can work together. But what role does the caregiver play then in the next day, let's say, after someone may wander?
Well, the caregiver is a major part of our program. We try to tell our caregivers, you know, if they're in the, you know, shower and then they discover that their loved one is wandered or something like that, call us right away. You know, we've had in the past a lot of caregivers try to search first, and that allows time to lapse and that distance to increase. So the tighter our search area is, the more likely we are to find them quickly. I would much rather them call me back and say, hey, they were 3 doors down at the neighbor's house, than to go try and search themselves without calling right away.
Right. And that number is a really easy number. I got this magnetic thing that I grabbed off our refrigerator because you gave it to me. And it's 328-2485.
And I tell all my caregivers, I said, you know, that's great. You know, if you have someone else that's trying to look for the number that happens to be a caregiver for that day or temporarily, or whatever the case is. But for our main caregivers, I would want them to put that number into their phone. That way, in case there is an elopement, they don't have to look for that number. They already have it. So the number is monitored 24/7, and that's on my hip 24/7, or one of my other deputies.
TC, what would you say to the caregiver who's taking care of a parent or a spouse that has Alzheimer's? They've never done this. They've never wandered before, so I don't need this.
You know, I have a saying, I would much rather have something and not need it than need it and not have it.
Right.
So if their loved one, you know, wanders off and they said that they don't need this program, you know, pretty much everybody is just going on site. But if they are on our program, we're going by that transmitter that's emitting that signal, and that's how we zero in on their loved one.
You know, TC, I got to use this time to promote what I've been amazed with our operations with the adult day at both our locations, is that since wandering is such a major part of the day in the life of an Alzheimer's person, we have protocols that really tighten down on how we can quickly take action. If it appears that the person's agitated and they look like they want to leave, we have staff that kind of stand between them and the door. I mean, it really is a major component of our care of Alzheimer's patients. So for that person out there that's trying to be a caregiver all by themselves, this is probably the toughest part of taking care of a loved one, isn't it?
Yeah, and they need to know that there is help out there.
Yeah.
There's agencies like yourself, you know, and there's, you know, services that we provide that could help them in case there is an elopement.
Right.
I mean, we're not going to stop them, but, you know, we could help find them, you know, if and when they do elope.
You see, how do I ask this question since I really don't know you? Given the topic that we're talking about, what would be the perfect gift under your Christmas tree this year?
That all caregivers that had a loved one with a cognitive issue would at least look into our program. Let them decide, you know, whether, you know, they think that this is a good fit for them and their family or not. But it just breaks my heart when I see these folks that go missing, that have these cognitive issues, and they're unfortunately found days later, sometimes deceased, and the family didn't even know about our program. So if they would at least, get to know us and look into it and decide for themselves if this is a program that they would like for their loved one.
Yeah. So they can call that number to find out more information too?
If they live in Norfolk, they can call me and I'm their person.
Okay.
If they're outside of Norfolk, they can go to Project Lifesaver International and they can click on find an agency. They can put in their zip code and it will tell them the closest Project Lifesaver agencies that are to them. Say it's Moyock, North Carolina, then it would probably tell you like Currituck County Sheriff's Office or whatever the case is for that particular jurisdiction.
TC, I want to thank you for your public service and stepping in, but I also want to remind the person who's watching this that if you've got a loved one that's on that journey of Alzheimer's or dementia, you don't have to do it alone. And that Prime Plus is here for active or for adult day service. And then when you put it together with the local sheriff's department, you guys are doing an awesome, awesome job, but you can only do it for the people that you know about who are in the program. So give that number a call, 328-2485. And I know you said you couldn't help somebody in Chesapeake or Moyock, but something tells me if you got a call from there, you direct them in the right direction.
I answer questions all the time. And one of the first questions I ask them is what city do they live in? But I'm happy to, try to help anybody I can.
Super. TC, thank you. Have a happy holiday. And because of your program, we've got people out there who are having good holidays with their Alzheimer's and dementia loved ones. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep in mind, stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected. See you later.